Hey, I'm Clint with Pour Your Poison. We're going to talk about some cool things you can do to garnish your drinks if you're having a party, having people over, making cocktails behind a bar, wherever you do them. Here we have salt and sugar, two of the main ingredients that you use to rim the glass of a cocktail with. Martinis, margaritas, basically anything. You don't have to stick to the standard traditional garnishes such as a mint sprig or a lemon or lime. You can actually make your drinks look better by doing things like this. So I'm basically going to show you a couple ideas of how to spruce up your drink and make it look better. So as you can see, we have a fairly coarse grain kosher salt. I like to use the coarser grain because it adds a little texture to the rim instead of the super fine salt. And then here we have some cane sugar. And again, it's got thicker crystals, which is fun to use. I'm going to start with some rosemary. I like using fresh herbs. The aroma, the smell, every time you put your nose into a glass that's garnished with a fresh herb, you're actually going to smell this before you taste the cocktail, which helps enhance the flavor of the drink, which is kind of fun, and it just adds another dimension to the cocktail. You're adding another sense to it, so you're smelling it as well as tasting it, and it makes things a lot more enjoyable. So in this situation, if you're going to be infusing something with rosemary, you're going to pull off a couple sprigs. Basically, you're going to finely chop this. With rosemary, I highly recommend you mince it basically to a fine powder, or as much as a fine powder as you can get it to, because rosemary is pretty pungent, a little overpowering. So you're going to bunch a little bit up, and you're basically just going to mince this as small as possible. Now, you can already start smelling the rosemary. This is breaking open the pores, it's releasing the oils, releasing all the flavors. We're going to take a spoonful of this salt, or you can use sugar, it doesn't matter. Just kind of showing you a couple options. And then we're going to brush this rosemary into the salt. So as you can see, you can use this on a regular margarita, or you can, like I said, if you're creating cocktails at home, it just adds another dimension to a cocktail. It brings out a little color, it looks a little more vibrant, it adds some fun to your drink. And I'll show you what it looks like on a glass. So make sure you always rim the glass on the outside. So an even spin outside of the glass. Get some color, you get the coarse salt in this case, and it adds a little dimension to the cocktail. So one of my favorites is I do margaritas, but I like to spruce it up a little bit by adding some fresh zest. So because you have zest, you have lime juice in a margarita, we're actually going to take a microplaner, which is a fruit zester, use some fruit. Make sure you're always cleaning your fruit first because fruits are generally coated in waxes and pesticides, and you don't want that in your cocktail. You want the fresh flavor. So we're going to take a quick zest of an orange. We're going to take some lemon as well, and we're going to take a lime. Now what this is going to do, it's just going to be beautiful, vibrant color. Like I said, it makes the drink look better and taste better as well. The reason I'm putting the pulp and the zest on top of a paper towel is because we want to press all the moisture out of it, or as much as possible. If you add the sugar and salt to it, the sugar and salt is going to start to dissolve because of the moisture in the zest. So you're going to fold the napkin, you're going to give this a little press. It doesn't have to be all the way dry because it is fresh. Now, another different twist. I always like to add a little spice to my drinks because I really like the idea of spice and sweet at the same time. It adds a nice contrast. So I'm going to take some multi-grain peppercorns, coarsely ground, and I'm going to grind some peppercorns right over the top of these. We're going to add a little bit of salt, about 2.5, 3 tablespoons. We're going to give this a quick mix. So you rim the glass again, outside only. Get the glass right in there. And it turns out something like that. If you let the zest dry a little bit more, it'll stick to the glass a little more, but I like the fresh flavors. Couple ideas, really cool, really simple. Make drinks look awesome. Some other ideas, you can do mint. If you're doing mojitos, instead of traditionally garnishing it with a lime or a mint sprig, fairly boring to me, you can take some mint, do the same thing as rosemary, dice it up fresh, really teeny, or you can do it in really long, really thin strips and actually put the mint in the drink or around the rim in the same fashion. And like I said, you can do anything. Use your imagination, anything. You can do wasabi sugar, wasabi salt, depending on the cocktails you're making, pepper, any fruit. So be creative, use your imagination. And if you do have any good ideas, send us pictures, ask us questions, find us on Facebook, hit us up on pouryourpoison.com, and let us know what you think, for sure. And we'll talk to you soon.